These are the best war, farming, and ranked bases at every Town Hall level. As ever, I will explain how the bases are effective because I worked with professional base builders at Clash Champs who built all 45 custom layouts for this video. If you do find this one helpful, you can support the channel before making purchases in any Supercell game by pressing the C and entering code JUDO. It is very much appreciated. Since Town Hall 1 is the tutorial, Town Hall 2 is the first time you can rearrange your layout. This one protects the defenses and is strong against any of the troops that will attack you at this level. For Town Hall 3, you can have a farming and war layout. The farming layout aims to protect your loot a lot more, particularly within the storages. The war layout aims to defend the 3-star, so you have the defenses protected better in the middle of the base. At Town Hall 4, you can now copy base links, which makes this so much easier for you, but you can notice in the farming layout, the air defense is central in the base, and that is echoed in the war layout because it is so pivotal against any balloons that may be attacking you. The war layout just has the defenses a little bit more scrambled, so it's not as easy to overpower. At Town Hall 5, although you can save multiple base layouts, in battle mode, it is all about protecting your loot. So that is why storages, again, in the inside of the base, we've got the key defenses aiming to protect those, but you have that big wall section blocking off the gold mines and elixir collectors as well. Moving to the war layout, though, this is really interesting because it is an anti-balloon setup. At this level, they are one of the key win conditions for the 3-star, and although it looks easy to place balloons at the northeast of the base and get them to go straight to the air defense, you can't. They would split to either the cannon to the north of the air defense or the one to the south, depending on where you placed them. This means the air defense is then firing away at them the entire time, and if someone is clever and is able to snipe off the cannons and push the balloons then to the air defense, the far side of the base has the wizard tower with the red air mines aiming to wipe them all out at the end as a group. Your Town Hall 6 farming base might look different. We can make them look aesthetically pleasing at the same time, but it is still a ring-style base protecting the storages in the center with your key defenses. Equally, the mines and pumps can be annoying to get to with splash damage covering them. Much like Town Hall 5, the Town Hall 6 wall layout is set up to bait balloons. They move from defense to defense, so the layout is designed to force the balloons around air defense and make it tricky to get to them. Even if they get the balloons to the core, we have those 2 red air bombs waiting. Notice the clan castle centralized here as well for that extra damage, and throughout the video we will have the recommended clan castle troops. You're welcome to experiment and put whatever you want in there, to be honest, but if you want the best success, I would follow the recommendations. At Town Hall 7, you now have access to ranked mode, so from here on out you will get a farming, ranked, and war layout. Just make sure to set your ranked base within the layout and reinforcement section of the ranked battle screen. Just like previous Town Hall levels, your home village layout is what is used in battle mode, so that is your farming base. At Town Hall 7, though, you unlock the dragons and hog riders, so this is what we're trying to defend. Even in this farming layout, you will notice the triangulation of air defense, so dragons get caught up on the storages and get taken down. This clearly moves across into the ranked layout, but there's a lot more nuance goes into the ranked and war layouts. So for this one, if someone attacks behind the air sweeper, notice the dead zone behind the town hall. That aims to split the dragon pathing, and therefore they're less effective at taking down the air defense. And moving into the war layout, you will see a similar principle on the spread of air defense. What you will also notice is the barbarian king somewhat isolated, because if someone's attacking with hog riders, it's common for them to try and take out the barbarian king before sending in the hog riders, and that's where clearly the giant bombs and the bait to try and wipe out packs of hog riders are not in that location. Therefore, as the hog riders are moving around the base after taking out the king, that's when those traps can do the most damage. As with all of my best base videos, should you have less builder huts than in the layouts, just make sure there's not any gaps within the base, and if you have more, be sure to place them in the corners so that your opponent perhaps time fails. At Town Hall 8, the amount of strategy options begin to expand, but for farming you will still be hit with casual armies. That's why we have the box style base, your storages in the center. Anyone pushing towards the 50% will not get much of your loot. When it comes to ranked or war, you will most commonly be hit with either dragons or hog riders, and these bases are set up to try and defend both of them, so they're pretty similar in nature because whether it's base war or ranked at this level, it is tricky to just get a 1-star defense. You're really trying to defend that 3-star. That's why the town hall is towards the outside of the base, and you will notice that on the wall layout as well, because we need the center for the clan castle. There is hog rider pathing on this, whereby the defenses will cause the hog riders to just move around the base exactly where you want, directly into the giant bombs, splash damage on the outside firing in towards those hog riders, and the clan castle being annoying on the inside. So unless your opponent is smart and breaks the defensive ring, well then the hog riders will move around the base doing exactly what you want, running into giant bombs and giving you the defense. At Town Hall 9, your farming base has your storages right in the center. Now that you don't have to worry about trophies, this will be prevalent throughout, trying to protect against any farming strategy, especially because at this level you will be hit with those mass Valkyrie attacks as well. For the ranked base though, this is built to defend dragons and witches, the common strategies at Town Hall 9. For that reason, the center archer tower, you want to set this as your geared up archer tower. As dragons are getting pushed around by the sweepers, then it will be dealing more damage. Moving to the war base, you will notice that whilst someone can always snipe an air defense with the giant arrow, it's impossible to stop that, obviously. It is difficult to get multiple air defense and sweepers along that as well. The base is being crafted to make sure that the queen, even if she can get good value, is not in an optimal spot. For example, the little gap that you notice on the outside where those 2 storages are, that is to try and lure the queen into that section so that she's then taking more damage. These are sometimes things that are put into the bases that you might not realize, but you're trying to encourage someone to actually start the attack in a certain area where they might run into difficulty that they hadn't quite expected. That is obviously when you can get really nice defenses. At Town Hall 10, the Inferno Towers are unlocked, so in your farming base you want to have these in multi-mode so that any spam style attacks you can try and take them out quickly. The bases for farming are pretty much the same throughout, so let's just swiftly move along to the ranked and the war layout. At Town Hall 10, I am always asked why the Town Hall is on the outside of the base, so I will say it again, much like the previous best bases videos, but because siege machines are unlocked by the clan castle at Town Hall 10, you want to try and skew wall wrecker or battle blimp pathing because they target the town hall. Should someone attack from the town hall side to try and guarantee the 2-star, they basically get no value out of the wall wrecker. It therefore encourages them to attack from the far side of the base to get value from the wall wrecker, but in doing so, they might miss the town hall. This is equally the case once we move across to the war base. So you're trying to, much like I was talking at Town Hall 9, encourage the attacker to approach the base in a particular way, and then that's why you have the base design set up to try and trap them once they do that. Much like at Town Hall 9, dragons are very popular at Town Hall 10, so we've equally tried to assure that the giant arrow value doesn't get multiple air defense and sweepers at the same time. At Town Hall 11, you unlock the beloved Eagle Artillery. That is placed in the center for the farming layout so that as people are spreading troops around the base, you can at least start to utilize that defense. And moving into the ranked and war base, you can use the Eagle Artillery to mess with your opponent. So starting with the ranked base, for example, the Town Hall and the Eagle are on opposite sides of the base. Should someone attack in towards the Town Hall to try and guarantee that star, again, this messes with siege machine pathing a little bit, but what it means is the Eagle Artillery is on the far side of the base, and therefore it has a much better likelihood of dealing damage to those troops throughout the attack. If they want to try and dive in to sneak the Eagle Artillery, we've got a bunch of traps around there, but you don't have to just put the Eagle and the Town Hall at opposite sides. Check out the war base. We have them both to one side of the base. And again, this is more playing mind games with your opponent. Do they go into the Town Hall, secure that star, try and take the Eagle early? If they do that, you might notice there is a dead zone behind the Eagle Artillery, which means their troops could very easily split, and therefore they have to waste their spells on 2 separate armies. Healers might end up moving to one of them, leaving the other side completely vulnerable. Likewise, if they attack from the other side of the base to try and utilize the siege machine across the entire base, well then they're leaving the town hall for the end. They're equally having damage from the Eagle Artillery throughout it. So there's a lot of mind games that goes into trying to help you defend as well. Obviously, you can just click the link and get what you need. At Town Hall 12, your Town Hall fights back. So being in the center, given it's a storage, it can somewhat try and protect your storages in the middle of the base as well, but clearly people have to go through all of your defenses first, and if people are just spamming Valkyries around the outside to get to the 50%, there's a good chance they do not get to your storages, and therefore you keep your loot. When it comes to the ranked base, I love the design of this one, since you as a viewer can see the traps. Remember, your opponent does not get to see that. Maybe they think,
actually, the town hall looks a little bit exposed. I will take that out straight away.
but then all of the traps are right in front of it, so it's heavily baited. This can mean that your opponent loses half of their troops before they even begin, and that's where you can get big defenses. And even if they get the 2-star, if you can keep the percentage low, you will gain a lot more trophies, which is obviously going to help in your efforts to be promoted from your league. When it comes to the wall layout, since people can plan against your base, maybe they can even see if someone else has attacked you and you've defended. That's why we've gone with more of an anti-2-star setup. But much like the ranked layout, you don't get a lot of fireball value. It's not easy to set up the flame flinger and really take advantage of a section of the base using that. And equally, those infernos are not reachable from the archer queen. So should someone be walking the queen down the flank, the inferno can hit not just the queen, but the healers as well. Town Hall 13 sees the scatter shot, providing a lot more splash around your base, helping with defending your loot. The farming layout is pretty much the same as you've seen moving through the Town Hall levels. Storages near the center, walls all the way around the outside, trying to defend those fast meta-style farming strategies. When it comes to ranked mode, though, you're really trying to surprise your opponent since they only get 30 seconds to scout. A diamond base is perfect for this because should somebody enter in towards the town hall, they will struggle with percentage. Even if they get a 2-star, it will likely be a lower percent if they don't play their strategy correctly. And if they enter from the far side of the town hall, which a lot of people do, trying to battle blimp all of the way through to the town hall, well, then they actually risk a 1-star as well. Especially when at this level, a lot of players will be using dragon attacks and hoping that the battle blimp reaches the town hall. You see a somewhat similar approach when it comes to the wall layout. However, you do have to assure you have a little bit more security built into it because people can have multiple attacks as part of their clan. They can also take time to scout. So that's why you see the base a little bit more spread out, trying to defend against numerous different strategies. There's not a lot of lightning value on this base. There's not a lot of areas where you can get huge fireball value. Equally, queen charges, the giant arrow have all been taken into consideration when building this because you have to try and think about the common strategies you are likely to be defending. We have made sure to include all of the recommended defending clan castle troops for best success in all of the different layouts, but for this one, it is 2 super minions, 2 headhunters, and filling that with archers. The archers are lured first, and then the headhunters and super minions aim to provide a massive amount of damage, particularly against enemy heroes, to try and wipe them out and give you the defense. The Town Hall 14 farming layout aims to defend the mass Valkyries and any dragon-style attacks as well. You have that huge ring around the base where even your mines and pumps are on the inside of the base, so they can't be sniped easily, but the storages are right in the middle. Should someone be trying to just get the 50% with the common Valkyrie approach, well then they won't actually get to your storages and steal most of your loot. But still, for trophy pushing bases, as you see with this one at Town Hall 14, you are really trying to protect that town hall because when players only get 1 shot, if you can protect that and get a 1-star on defense, you get a lot of trophies. So it is isolated in the core of the base, meaning there is a lot of dead space around the town hall. So if your opponent is not careful and they don't cut out buildings effectively to get troops to move to the town hall, then troops can just continue walking around the ring and completely dodge the town hall in itself. Should someone Play wise to this and send a battle blimp into the town hall. We have the tornado, all of the red air mines. A lot of time, since the town hall is a defense, people will try to use balloons, so that's where the red air mines try to defend that. Clearly, I can't explain every single little detail of every base layout in this video, but just know these have been built and tested by pros. So for example, one other detail on this one, notice the multi-target infernos at the top of the base. Queen charges being very popular at Town Hall 14. It's difficult to actually break in towards those inferno towers, and if your queen walks around the base, the infernos can reach the perimeter, and they wouldn't just damage the queen. The main reason is they can reach the healers as well. And if you can snipe off those healers, then the queen will go down in no time. Moving to the wall layout, I really like the look of this design. Once you can see where the traps are, it becomes a lot clearer what it is that we're trying to bait. So standard, there's not a lot of fireball value around the base, since that is nowadays a really common entry. But looking at Blizzard, still popular at Town Hall 14, all of the giant bombs around the town hall, that's typically where people like to try and Blizzard. Good luck. There are traps everywhere. And you have the Eagle Artillery on the back end of the base, raining fire the entire attack. Should they wish to enter in towards the Eagle Artillery, well then they are going towards 2 air sweepers, pushing the air troops back, or even healers if it's a ground smash attack. But notice the dead zone behind the town hall as well. Once their troops get to the town hall, they are encouraged to go around it so it can continue dealing damage and maybe even not be destroyed, giving you the 1-star defense. Town Hall 15 sees the Spell Tower defense, which means we can really spice things up a bit with the farming layout using the invisibility spell towers. Notice the 2 layers of wall guarding the town hall and the storages. Anyone using mass Valkyries would just be in the outside ring. Likewise, if someone is using dragons to farm, it's not easy to get them to the center of the base, and even if you do, you then have the invisibility spell towers to deal with. When it comes to the ranked mode, we have 2 heavily baited areas around the rage spell towers. That is because the Royal Champion charge is incredibly popular at this level, and if you're trying to set up Root Riders or Dragons after that, you want to try and charge one of those areas, hence all of the giant bombs surrounding it. It's very easy for someone to lose their Royal Champion in that location. Equally, take a look at the red air mine farm in the center of the base. Whether it's dragons someone's pathing through the base with, or equally if it's a smash attack and healers, people will be tempted to use the Eternal Tome from the Grand Warden over the Rage Tower compartment. What this means is it has worn off by the time dragons get to that location behind the town hall, and that's where all of the red air mines are sitting waiting. Obviously, as the town halls get higher, the bases can get more complex. So checking out the war design on this one, you have 2 flanking sides where you notice the scatter shot and the poison towers. Poison will slow down the troops because people like to attack through the base, so into the town hall and all the way through, or from the opposite side, but they're taking a lot of flanking damage and they're slowed by the poisons. If someone is wise to that and tries to do a Royal Champion dive into one of those sections to take out the scatter early, well, clearly that is where we have all of the traps to try and halt them. As ever, these bases have been tested by the pros that built them from Clash Champs in order to defend the most common strategies. I always like to work with Clash Champs alongside these best bases videos because they provide free bases as well on their website, which I will link in the description as a thank you for all of the hard work they have put into building them for this video. Town Hall 16 sees similar techniques to protect your storages, invisibility spell towers right next to them. It is that ring style base, so any spam style attacks will be caught on the outside, meanwhile your loot in the center is well protected. The ranked layout aims to feed into some common approaches to bases. A lot of the time on box style bases, people like to attack to one of the adjacent corners to the town hall with a Royal Champion dive. This means whether you're going with Root Riders or Dragons, you then have clear pathing straight into the town hall because generally you don't want to send your Royal Champion direct towards that. This means that either corner at the opposite side of the town hall are heavily stacked with giant bombs. That could be the difference maker in you defending or not. Equally, by those 2 compartments, the monolith is tricky to get to. Maybe that's something that people want to dive in and try and take down the monolith early, but in doing so, they get caught in one of those compartments and therefore take a lot of damage. For the wall layout, when people tend to plan a little bit more, you're more likely to be hit with fireballs or attacks that are really trying to utilize weaknesses in your base. That's why it's spread out that little bit more so that people can't get big value from the layout. On the same token, the defenses are set up in a way where defense targeting troops, such as Root Riders, wouldn't pass through the base easily. Notice the dead zones around the Scattershot and the Poison Towers. The troops will actually move from the Expo and Monolith to the outside Archer Tower and completely avoid that area, and therefore they're taking that splash damage the entire time, resulting in your defense. Town Hall 17 brings the Fire Spitters, so within the farming layout, we have them pointing in opposite directions to try and give you the most coverage possible. A popular strategy is just spamming the Valkyries around the outside, so most of the farming layouts in this video have aimed to protect that. This one is no different, so your storages are aimed to be protected right in the middle. When it comes to ranked mode, you really want to use the Fire Spitters to encourage your opponent to attack in a particular direction. So in this layout, we are encouraging players to attack in via the Town Hall, which means yes, they're more likely to get the 2-star, but we can defend the 3-star versus them. This means, for common approaches such as the Royal Champion Dive, they would want to attack into the compartment either side of the Fire Spitter to set up the pathing to then enter into that location. But the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock compartments both heavily baited versus that approach. For the wall layout, we have a box design, so not quite the anti-2 that we've seen in the ranked, because you're trying to pick up 1-stars a little bit more there where people can't plan. But for this one, we've actually trapped more of the entry that would be common for Root Riders or Meteor Golems. If someone is going to fireball, they have to be very skillful to get that fireball to the center, so I would say it's unlikely for you. Equally, the rage spell compartment in the center has a lot of damage. You can overgrowth that, but you would have to get the timing impeccable to make sure that you're not taking damage when you're close by to it, but that it does wear off so that you can actually take it down. Otherwise, the troops will just loop around it, and that's the entire point. Next to the Town Hall, there's no defense buildings that will lure Root Riders in towards that central location. At Town Hall 18, this will be my farming layout. I think it looks fantastic. Sometimes I like to have my show base on, but you have the storages in the center well protected with the invisibility towers. You've got that dead space as well, so that whether it's Valkyries, dragons, whatever, they will be caught around the outside. Anyone going to the 50% will not get any of your loot. You thought we had one ranked base for you? No, we have multiple. That is because of Clash Champs' Legend Leaders program. It is a monthly subscription that I will place a link to in the description, but their builders create multiple layouts for Legend League. You can track that via data in order to select the right one for you based on your trophy range. Bases provided in this video are some of the highest performing in recent weeks. So firstly, a double poison base by Aquiles. There's no good fireball value. Pathing of the Meteor Golems into the core is a nightmare. And with all of the bases, we have been providing the recommended clan castle troops that you should use for best success. We then have a box style base, the Invisibility Spell Tower, next to the Town Hall with that large Rage Tower compartment. It can be a bit of a risk running bases like this, but that is where you can sometimes get those 1-stars, which help massively. Particularly with the Longshot Guardian and the Revenge Tower next to the Town Hall, they're not going to be able to snipe that off easily. They will have to commit a decent amount of troops to that area, but they also have to worry about getting good pathing in towards the Rage Tower compartment, so it can be one of those bases that are really annoying for a lot of players. Should you be hit with a lot of dragon attacks, you may opt for this stacked double poison base from Max. Most dragon attackers like to fly into the Town Hall, meaning this one is a nightmare to get through, but it can defend well against those Meteor Golem attacks as well. When it comes to the wall layout, equally, Meteor Golems and dragons are everywhere. This one doesn't have great fireball value around the outside, meaning setting up pathing for the Meteor Golems is not easy. We've got the Bomb Hive just dealing damage all of the time. A lot of storages around it they would have to get to in order to take that out. A lot of the time, people like to go in towards the Town Hall at Town Hall 18, get rid of that Guardian early, secure the 2-star. This means the Revenge Tower is on the back end of the base, and equally, the multi-target Infernos raged up will be dealing a lot of damage as troops are caught on the storages. I want to thank Clash Champs again and all of the builders that took the time to design the layouts for this video. And if you want to see my best ranked attack strategy video for every Town Hall, I have that linked on your screen alongside a video YouTube thinks you will like. Enjoy the rest of your day.